Have you ever wondered why artists for literally centuries have been so obsessed with one specific type of light? It's not just, a slight preference. For a lot of them, it's a total non-negotiable. So what's the deal? What is so special about the light that comes from the north?
Right. Imagine this scenario. You're building your dream studio. The architect shows you the plans, and you say, "Nope, forget the amazing view from that window. For this room, what I need is perfect north-facing light." This isn't just some artsy whim, it is a technical specification, and it's as critical as the foundation of the building itself.
So that really begs the question, doesn't it? Is this all just some old, romantic myth that's been passed down from painter to painter? Or is there a hard rule here, something based on the actual physics of how light works? Well, that is exactly what we're going to break down right now.
Okay, so the secret isn't really about the direction north, not in the way you might think. It's actually about facing away from the sun. And to get why that's so important, we got to look at the simple, predictable physics of light.
You know, the entire reason that artists have been chasing this specific setup for centuries, well, it can be summed up in a single, really powerful word: consistency. That's it. That is the absolute holy grail for any artist who's trying to capture a moment, a person, or an object over a long stretch of time. And north light is pretty much the only natural light source that can deliver that.
So let's do a quick refresher on how the sun moves, at least for those of us here in the northern hemisphere. It comes up in the east, it travels across the southern part of the sky, and then it sets over in the west. And the key part of that whole journey is that southern arc.
And this is where it all clicks. See, a south-facing room gets absolutely blasted with direct, intense sunlight all day long. But a north-facing window? It never gets a direct hit from the sun. The light it gets is indirect. It's reflected light from the atmosphere itself. And this one simple fact is the key to everything.
So how does that one simple fact create the perfect recipe for an artist's studio? Well, we can break down the magic of that consistency into 3 core pillars.
Yep, 3 huge benefits, and they all stem from that one simple idea of just facing away from the sun. Okay, first, you get stable, unchanging shadows. I mean, imagine you're painting a portrait for 6 hours. If you had direct sunlight, the shadows on your model's face would be shifting constantly. It would be impossible. North light just gets rid of that problem. Second, the light is soft and diffused. This quality cuts down on harsh glare, and it lets you see all those subtle midtones that give an object its real shape. And third, the color of the light is cool and consistent, which is absolutely crucial if you're trying to mix accurate paint colors.
I love this analogy, it's just perfect. Think about the difference between a bare, clear light bulb, which is super harsh and direct, and a frosted glass fixture, which is soft and scattered. Well, north light is basically nature's version of that frosted glass. The light just seems to wrap around objects, and that's what reveals all those subtle tones that make something look three-dimensional.
Now that third benefit, color, is the most technical one, but stick with me. All light has something called a color temperature, and we measure it on the Kelvin scale. A low Kelvin temperature means the light is warm and yellow, kind of like a candle. A high Kelvin temperature means the light is cool and blue. And this chart just illustrates it brilliantly. Look at a candle flame. It's really warm, right around 2000 Kelvin. Direct sun is more of a neutral white, around 5500 K. But the light from a clear blue sky, which is what a north-facing window is looking at, is super cool, often 6500 Kelvin or even higher. This gives artists a constant, cool baseline, so they can actually trust the colors they're mixing.
But of course, it's not quite that simple. This north light rule is a really powerful one, but like any good rule, it has some really important exceptions and nuances.
This is the question that always comes up, and the answer is so great because it actually proves the whole principle. So what happens if you're an artist way down in the southern hemisphere?
See, the rule isn't magically about the direction north. The real rule is to always face away from the sun's direct path. Down in the southern hemisphere, the sun arcs across the northern sky. So artists there do the exact opposite. They look for south-facing light for the exact same reasons, to get that consistent, cool, indirect light.
And here's another thing. Not all artists even want this. The realist masters like Vermeer, they perfected using north light to capture this stable, glowing reality. But then you have the Impressionists, like Monet. They wanted the exact opposite. Their whole goal was to paint the fleeting effects of direct, changing sunlight. A stable, north-lit studio would have completely defeated their purpose.
So if north light is so great for art, you might be wondering, why isn't every room in my house north-facing? Well, for one, they're cold.
They get zero free, passive solar heat in the winter. And that same cool blue light that artists love so much can feel kind of gloomy or sterile for a living room or a bedroom.
And that brings us to the modern era. I mean, with all the technology and architectural know-how we have today, do artists still need to rely on a compass to find the perfect light? Well, a lot of modern artists actually just black out their windows entirely. They want the total control of artificial light. But if you want to mimic that perfect natural light, you can't just grab any old light bulb. You have to pay attention to something called the Color Rendering Index, or CRI. It's basically a scale from 0 to 100 that measures how accurately a light source shows you an object's true colors. For comparison, natural sunlight is a perfect 100.
For an artist to really trust what they're seeing, they need bulbs with a CRI of 90 or higher, but ideally you're looking for 95 or more. That's what ensures the colors they mix on their palette are the true colors of the paint.
And when a modern studio is built to use natural light, wow, it is a piece of precision engineering. You have to place it on the north side, away from anything that could reflect color inside, like a bright red brick wall. You use huge, high windows with special color-neutral glass. You paint the walls a very specific neutral gray so they don't bounce color around. And yeah, you probably have to create a whole separate heating zone just to keep the room from being an icebox.
At the end of the day, it all comes down to this. The whole idea of a north-lit studio isn't some romantic fantasy. It's a precise, technical solution to a very real problem that artists have been dealing with for centuries. It's a perfect example of form following function, where the entire design is dictated by the needs of the person inside.
And that really brings us to a final thought for you. Whether it's a bright, sunny kitchen where you have your morning coffee, or a cool, glare-free room where you do your work, the orientation of your home is quietly shaping your day every single day. It's maybe the most fundamental design choice of all. Have you ever stopped to think about which way you're facing?